Your commitment to decluttering your life reflects your commitment to making changes. In this process, it is important to first identify the elements you need to remove from your life. Whether it is negative relationships or unnecessary habits, eliminating these elements allows you to find inner balance and discover your true potential. By letting go of unnecessary burdens in your life, you should focus your energy on positive and constructive goals. With this step, you can create a more organized lifestyle and take a more solid step towards your own goals. Remember, the peace of mind and success that organization brings will increase your self-esteem and give you a more fulfilling life. Now I'm going to tell you 10 things that you will need a lot of in this regard and that you should eliminate from your life. Recognize and differentiate your friends. If you are thinking about how unnecessary and useless friendships can affect our lives, you might reflect on the quote by the English writer C.S. Lewis. A true friend is one who can spend a quieter hour than any meaningless conversation. Building quality relationships, spending time with worthwhile people, and making deep connections are the foundation for a truly meaningful and fulfilling life. Cutting out meaningless friendships means focusing on your own personal growth. It not only strengthens our social bonds, but also contributes to our inner growth through positive interactions. Removing meaningless friendships from our lives, directing our energy in positive directions, and spending more time with people who have a positive impact on our lives is an important step towards long-term happiness and success. Of unnecessary words. Unnecessary dialogues are time thieves that sneak into our lives. Consider an example. If you spend a lot of time in idle conversations, you may find it difficult to focus on what really matters. Unnecessary conversations on social media or in everyday conversations distract us from the deeper connections around us. As the great thinker Socrates said, most people tend to monologue, not dialogue. That's why no one really understands each other. This quote points to the importance of valuing deep and meaningful conversations. Development and learning take place through meaningful dialogues. On the other hand, Nobel Prize-winning physicist Richard Feynman's quote, "Just talking does not mean knowing something. If you really know something, you can simplify it," emphasizes the quality of dialogues and knowledge sharing. Therefore, reducing unnecessary conversations can make room for deeper and more informative conversations, which will contribute to your personal development and make you a stronger and more invincible person. Never forget this rule. Dried flower will not bloom again. Forced relationships can drag your life into an energy-sapping stalemate. When a friendship or relationship loses its natural flow and efforts are made to maintain it, this forced state is often unsatisfying. At this point, the world-renowned philosopher Confucius's quote, "A friendship is like taking over a city. It is easy to gain but difficult to keep," emphasizes the naturalness of relationships. Forced relationships not only keep people in your life who are not right for you, but can also cause you to miss out on the right connections. Let's consider a real-life example. If a relationship is full of constant conflict and incompatibility, it will only drag you down to a point where it saps your energy. The English writer Oscar Wilde's quote, "Friendship is the intelligence of the heart," emphasizes the value of sincere and genuine relationships. Letting go of forced relationships can be the first step to building deeper, meaningful, and healthy connections with the people who are right for you. Remember that a healthy relationship involves an interaction in which both parties naturally contribute. Unstable habits. Unnecessary but persistent habits can often make it difficult to focus on goals and hinder long-term achievements. If a friend is consistently procrastinating or constantly changing certain habits, it is important to recognize the potential effects of this. American philosopher William James is quoted as saying, "A habit is like splitting a thread. On the first day, it is difficult to break a thin thread, but every day it grows a little weaker, and one day it breaks." This is a powerful metaphor for how unstable habits can have an accumulative force over time. Let's think about real life. If a friend consistently exhibits erratic behavior in working towards a specific goal, You can have an open dialogue together to understand the potential impact of this situation. The famous leader Winston Churchill's quote, "Habit is like the mud of people without character," offers a thought-provoking perspective on how unstable habits can affect personal character. Remember that changing unstable habits is a healthy step towards focusing on long-term goals and personal growth. Supporting this process and developing healthier habits together strengthens friendships. Negative thoughts. If a friend is consistently approaching things from a negative perspective, you can support them by sharing this with them and offering a positive perspective. But if it continues, you can be sure that this negativity will rub off on you, affecting yourself and your future. The famous Buddha quote, "Our thoughts create the world," is a warning about how the impact of negative thoughts can determine our lives. Negative thought patterns can cast shadows over our lives and limit our potential. If a friend is constantly thinking negative thoughts and missing opportunities, it is important to understand and support them. At this point, the American philosopher Ralph Waldo Emerson's quote, "People act not as they think, but as they believe they think," offers a thought-provoking perspective on how negative thought patterns can affect our behavior. Remember that positive thinking is a powerful tool to approach life with a positive outlook and overcome challenges. Recognizing and changing negative thought patterns can be the beginning of supporting your friend. Being understanding and providing support with positive guidance during this process can make a significant contribution for your friend. Useless activities. Time-wasting activities can consume valuable resources in our lives and prevent us from realizing our true potential. If a friend is consistently wasting time on trivial activities, it is important to recognize this and support them to change these habits. In this regard, the American writer Annie Dillard's quote, "If you don't realize how time flies, time is wasted," emphasizes the importance of using time consciously and valuably. If someone close to you or a dear friend is constantly wasting time on pointless games or social media, you can help by sharing this with them and redirecting them to alternative, more productive activities. The famous philosopher Benjamin Franklin's quote, "Time is money," is very important to realize that it is important to spend our time on something worthwhile. Remember, my friend, that time is an irretrievable resource. Wasted time can cause us to miss potential opportunities and hinder our personal development. Raising awareness and guiding your friend towards more meaningful activities is sure to improve his/her quality of life and, in turn, your quality of life. Aimlessness and uncertainty. Let's start with an example. If the guy you are hanging out with is lost in uncertainty about his future, talking to him about setting and achieving realistic goals will help him plan for the future. But if he is still the same way, sorry man, you have to end your relationship with that person, or you will be lost in this sea of uncertainty. In this process, the philosopher Seneca's quote, "If a ship sails on a sea without a harbor, no wind is right," is a powerful statement that describes the uncertainty of a life without goals. Aimlessness and uncertainty can cause us to lose ourselves in the absence of a guiding purpose to our lives. If a friend is consistently avoiding having clear goals, it is important to understand this and support them to draw a clearer roadmap together. Having clear goals can give meaning to our lives, as well as increase our motivation and therefore our discipline. Emphasizing to your friend the importance of focusing on clear goals to shape the next chapters of your life will inspire her and help you as well as your coworker. Thieving relationships. Relationships that steal emotional energy are toxic connections that negatively affect individuals' emotional health. These relationships are characterized by negative behaviors such as constant criticism, manipulation, and control. As the famous psychologist Carl Jung said, "To preserve our emotional energy, we must distance ourselves from relationships that negatively affect us." Some figures can offer an in-depth perspective on this. For example, philosopher Soren Kierkegaard emphasizes that these relationships hinder personal growth when he says, "If a relationship limits one's freedom and true self, one should avoid such a connection." In everyday life, the effects of such relationships are often exemplified by the situations encountered. For example, in an incident with a partner who constantly criticizes, the individual's self-esteem is damaged, and a feeling of emotional burnout may develop over time. Therefore, it is important to conserve our emotional energy by setting healthy boundaries and building positive relationships. Stop wandering in the past. Remembering past mistakes plays an important role in people's personal development. Many historical figures have given advice in this regard. For example, Mahatma Gandhi's quote, "Those who do not remember the past are condemned to repeat it," is noteworthy in this regard. Historical events reinforce this wisdom. For example, the genocides of the 20th century offered great lessons to humanity. In everyday life, too, it is important for individuals to learn from past mistakes. For example, a mistake in a workplace emphasizes the importance of teamwork. Similarly, mistakes in personal relationships provide an opportunity to develop empathy and communication skills. In this context, an important piece of advice to remember is this: forgetting past mistakes is an opportunity to learn from them, rather than simply regretting them. Every mistake is a process of development and learning. Therefore, by remembering past mistakes, it is possible to build a more conscious and mature future. Stop procrastinating. This principle, which is one of the most important principles of Stoic philosophy, wants people to get rid of procrastination and take action. Constant procrastination is one of the problems many people face in their lives. Benjamin Franklin drew attention to this issue when he said, "To put it off is to waste time." Likewise, Victor Kiam said, "Do not procrastinate. It is a waste of time. Procrastination has zero gain." Emphasize the harmful effects of procrastination. In everyday life, continually putting off a project means missing potential opportunities and creating obstacles on the path to success. This is an issue often emphasized by leaders who have achieved success, especially in the business world. Steve Jobs' quote, "If you don't do it now, when will you do it?" offers a thought-provoking perspective at this point. In order to break the habit of procrastination, it is important to prioritize, focus on goals, and implement small-step strategies. As James Clear emphasizes in his book, Atomic Habits, big results can be achieved with small changes. Therefore, when you tend to procrastinate, it is important to start by taking a small step and manage time effectively. Remember, dear friend, if you can't do it today, you can't do it tomorrow. If we don't find people around us who are in tune with our own inner compass, the balance point of that compass can be lost over time. A compass that does not always point north, a compass that is out of balance, can prevent you from finding your way. Remember that life offers us new routes by challenging the directions on your compass from time to time. Perhaps true balance is found through change, and exploring different paths allows us to deepen our relationships with the people around us. May you find the right path on your inner compass as you bravely step into new adventures and life changes, my friend. Don't forget to like the video if you like it and subscribe to see more life advice and Stoic lifestyle like this, my friend. If there are things you don't like and if you have any requests, don't forget to leave them in the comments. Stay healthy.